Do you want to visit the US? Yes? No? I don't know. If you would like to answer this question clearly and accurately, well, I have some good news. Today, you are going to learn 30 ways to say yes, no, or I don't know in daily conversation. Hi, I'm Vanessa from SpeakEnglishWithVanessa.com, and like always, I have created a beautiful free PDF worksheet for you with all of today's expressions. All 10 ways to say yes, 10 ways to say no, and 10 ways to say I don't know. You can click on the link below this video to download the free PDF worksheet today. Never forget these wonderful phrases and use them when you speak in English. Let's get started with 10 wonderful ways that you can say yes in English. The first one is actually a 3-for-1 deal. It is yeah, yup, and yep. All of these are very informal, so if I asked you, hey, do you want to hang out this weekend? You could say, yeah. Do you want to hang out this weekend? Yup. Do you want to hang out this weekend? Yep. All of these are great to use in casual situations. The second way to say yes is sure thing. So if I asked you, do you want to hang out this weekend? You could say, sure thing. And it means yes, with enthusiasm. You're looking forward to it. This is an expression that you can also use in the workplace. You just need to have a little bit of a positive tone when you use it to make sure that you sound positive. So if your boss asks you, hey, can you have that report finished by the end of the week? You can reply with this phrase, sure thing, I'll have it done by the end of the week. Wonderful. The third way to say yes is very strong. Absolutely. If I ask you, do you want to hang out this weekend? And you reply, absolutely. Well, I better hope that you're not going to back out at the last second because this phrase means definitely, absolutely, without a question, yes. It is very strong. Absolutely. The fourth way to say yes is another strong one. It is 100%. Well, you can't get much higher than 100%. So if I asked you, hey, do you want to hang out this weekend? And you reply 100%, well, I know that you are very much looking forward to getting together because you said 100% yes. The fifth way to say yes is for sure. Now, it depends your tone of voice if this is going to be seen as really enthusiastic or just saying a more moderate yes. So let's take a look at an example. Do you want to hang out this weekend? For sure. Okay, here you got lots of enthusiasm. It means absolutely, 100%, for sure, let's hang out. But what if you said, do you want to hang out this weekend? For sure. Okay, you can tell from my tone of voice that I'm not committed 100%, but I'm still willing to hang out and get together. The sixth way to say yes is a little bit different from the others. It is the word right. Well, there's a wrong way to use this and a right way to use this. If I asked you, do you want to hang out this weekend? And you replied with right, this is incorrect. This is wrong. It is not right. Instead, we use this word right when we're agreeing with something that someone made in a statement. So if I said, I can't wait to hang out over the weekend, you could say, right, me too. Here you are agreeing with my statement. I didn't ask you a question. Instead, I just made a statement. I'm looking forward to spending time with you this weekend. You can use the word right and say, right, me too. This is the great way to use it. The seventh way to say yes is a fun one. You bet, or a little bit more casual, you betcha. If I asked you, do you want to hang out this weekend? And you said, you betcha, I can't wait. I know you're really looking forward to it. The full phrase here is, you bet that I want to hang out with you over the weekend, but we've just shortened this here to you bet, which means yes, emphatically. The eighth way to say yes is, of course. Do you want to hang out this weekend? Of course, I can't wait. This is very clear and it means, yes, you want to hang out. Great. The ninth way to say yes is one that you wouldn't really use in the workplace often, but you're welcome to use in other situations. It is, sounds good. Do you want to hang out this weekend? Sounds good. Sounds great. Here, this is a shortened version of the full phrase, sounds good to me, sounds great to me. But usually we just shorten that and say, sounds good. It means yes. Our 10th and final way to say yes is one that you need to be careful with. It is this sound. It's not exactly a word. It's the sound, Okay, so there's a couple different ways that we can use this with our intonation. If I asked you, do you want to hang out this weekend? And you said, okay, this is very positive. It's going up, But there is a sarcastic way to use this. It's the same sound, but the intonation is different, so you have to be really careful. You don't want to come across as rude if you're just trying to say yes. So let's imagine you're talking with your coworkers and you say, yeah, our boss said that if we all meet our sales goal for this month, we'll get a raise. Well, if you don't really believe that you're going to get a raise if you hit your sales goals, you could use this phrase to reply. You're agreeing with that person, but you're being sarcastic. If you say, we've heard that before. Did you hear that tone of voice? It's not which is yes. English is sometimes very strange. We just have sounds. So you could say happy, positive, yes, that's yes. But if you said, we've heard that before, I've heard that before, this is very sarcastic and it is negative. It means, I don't think we're going to get our bonus. It's just something that our boss likes to say. So be careful when you use to make sure you use the right tone of voice. And now you will definitely hear this in movies and TV shows. So as you hear people say this, pay attention to their tone of voice. All right, let's go on to 10 ways to say no in daily conversation. Now, just as a little note, sometimes it's difficult to say no, but we have to, or we just don't really want to do something, or we can't do something. So I'm going to give you a couple examples of how you can use the no expression, but also make it a little bit more polite so that you feel better using it and the other person feels better receiving that phrase from you. The first alternative way to say no is nah or nope. But if you just said to someone, hey, do you want to hang out? And they said, nope. Okay, well, that's a little bit rude. I don't want to spend time with you. Nope. So how could you make this a little more polite? You might say, nah, I'm sorry, I can't. I already have weekend plans. Okay, so you're kind of elaborating on it a little bit. And that's really what's going to help all of these no phrases be a little more polite, is if you give a little more detail. If you just shut someone off, nah, they might feel a little bit hurt, so you can give some more details. Nah, sorry, I can't. I have some other plans. This is better. I have to share something funny with you that I saw the other day about the word nope. I was reading some articles about snakes because where I live there are some venomous snakes that we have to watch out for, and the article was comparing the difference between venomous snakes and harmless snakes, and they gave a nickname for these venomous snakes. It was very funny to me. They called them Nope on a rope. So a snake looks like a rope. So they said, is it nope on a rope or is it safe? And this was just a silly way to talk about a snake. So you might hear this online. It's not very common, but I just thought it was something funny that I wanted to share because sometimes funny things help us to remember words. And maybe you're into snakes. Who knows? Maybe that's your passion. Well, I'm sure you've heard that expression then in English conversations about snakes. That's a nope on a rope. I'm not going to touch it. Very silly. The second way to say no is, I'm good. What? This is so strange because we have a positive word, good, but we're using it to say no. Well, there is a specific situation when we use this. This is most commonly used in a restaurant or an ordering situation. If you're ordering drinks, if you're ordering food, and maybe the waitress asks you, oh, can I bring you another beer? If you don't want another beer, you could say, I'm good. You might even add, no thanks, I'm good. But you could just say, I'm good, and it means no. That means right now, I am good in my current state. I don't need more beer. And it's a really common thing to use in a restaurant or bar situation. I'm good. The third way to say no is similar to I'm good. It is I'm all set. So here we're focusing on the positive. I'm all set. When would you use this? Well, maybe in the workplace if your boss asks you, do you need any more information to finish this project? You might say, I'm all set. I think I can do it. And this means, no, I don't need any more information. I think I can do it. I'm all set. I have everything that I need. I am set. Great. Just a little note that you can use this in a restaurant as well. If the waitress asks you, would you like another beer? You could use this expression and say, I'm all set. Great. It means no. The fourth way to say no is a tricky one. We use this in negative and positive situations. It is the expression, no way. And it all depends on your tone of voice. Let's imagine that we're taking a hike and we see a snake slither across the path. And I say, hey, you want to pick up that snake? You might say, oh, nope on a rope. No way. And here you are saying emphatically no. There is no question about it. The answer is no. No way. But how could we use this in a positive way? Well, let's imagine I'm telling you about my hike. And I say, you know what? Last week we went for an amazing hike and there was a snake that slithered across the path. And do you know what my husband did? He reached down, picked it up behind the head very gently. He picked it up and showed us the snake. You might be shocked. You might say, no way. How did he do that? Why did he do that? And here you are showing some surprise, but it's not necessarily in a negative way. No way. Instead, you're just showing surprise. No way. Maybe if your boss says you got a promotion, you might say, no way, that's great. Here we're using it in a positive tone of voice to show surprise about something that's either neutral, something surprising, or something positive. You got a raise. Great. The fifth way to say no is a fun one. Not gonna happen. We often use this kind of cutting off hand gesture. Not gonna happen. So let's imagine your coworker walks up to you and says, hey, could you help me proofread these 5 emails before the end of the day? I'd really appreciate it. Okay, that's a very polite question, a polite favor to ask, but maybe you have no time. You might say, sorry, not gonna happen. The boss wants me to finish this huge report by the end of the day and I am swamped. Okay, you gave some details. You made it more polite by giving more details, but you did use this strong expression and said, nope, not gonna happen. I have a lot to do right now. Sorry, maybe you can ask her. The sixth way to say no is another fun one. Thanks, but no thanks. If I ask you, hey, do you want to hang out this weekend? You might say, oh, thanks, but no thanks. I have family visiting me this weekend. Okay, you're thanking me for my invitation. Thank you. But you're really declining the invitation by using this polite no phrase. Thanks, but no thanks. I have family coming into town, so I can't get together. The seventh way to say no is another polite one. It is afraid not. Well, you're not really afraid. Instead, if I asked you, do you want to hang out this weekend? And you said, afraid not. I have a lot of housework to catch up on, and I just need a break to do nothing. Okay, everyone understands this. Everyone understands having a lot of things in the house they have to do that they've been putting off, and you just want a weekend with no plans. Afraid not. It's a polite way to say, no, I really would like to, but I'm afraid I can't. Afraid not. I have a lot to do. The eighth way to say no is a nice soft way to deliver some bad news. It's actually 2 expressions for one. It is, if only I could. Or, I wish I could. Here you're trying to frame it in a positive way. If only I could. I wish I could. So let's look at a scenario. Do you want to hang out this weekend? I wish I could, but I'm going to a friend's wedding. Okay, they're not saying, no, I don't like you. I don't want to spend time with you ever again. No. Instead, they're saying, oh, I wish I could, but I have other plans. Or you could use the second phrase. If only I could. I think this expresses a little more longing. If only I could, but I have to go to a friend's wedding this weekend. So here you're just trying to say a soft no by expressing it in a positive way. The ninth way to say no is I really shouldn't. Here you're going to use this when you know that you shouldn't do something, but you're tempted to say yes. So if I ask you, hey, do you want to hang out this weekend? You might say, I really shouldn't. I need to help my sister paint her house. I promised her that I would. Okay, you're showing that you're tempted to hang out with me. In fact, hanging out with me is more fun than helping your sister paint her house, but you made a promise that you would help your sister, so you're going to use this expression and say, I really shouldn't, but I want to still. The 10th way to say no is a little bit silly. It's just a sound. Remember how we used a sound to express yes? Well, we can use a similar sound to express no. Or You can accompany this by a shaking of your head back and forth like this. In the US, this is a cultural gesture that means no. So you could just say with no words, but it's a little bit odd to not accompany it with some words. So you could say, So if I asked you, do you want to hang out this weekend, and you are feeling extremely tired, you've had a long week, you might say, I'm feeling so tired. I just need to take a break this weekend. Okay, well, you're using that sound to express your tiredness. I'm just feeling so tired. Now, I want to let you know, with a slightly different intonation, we use this to say no to children. And it kind of has a kind of an authoritarian feel to it. You have to be the authority, the parent, the teacher, someone in authority in order to say this. But let's imagine that you catch your child opening the box of cookies and they start to eat them, and you walk into the room. You might have something stronger to say. Or you might just say, no, we don't eat cookies in the middle of the day, or whatever kind of phrase you're going to say. But did you notice I used that same sound? Very strong. Usually shaking my head, trying to express I am displeased with what you did. This is a very parental sound. We don't do that. So you might hear parents saying this to their children in the form of that no sound. All right, let's go on to our final section, which are 10 ways to say I don't know in English. The first one is a casual reduction. I don't know. I don't know. The word dunno is not a word. It's just a smushing together of don't know. I don't know. So we use this more in informal situations. If I asked you, hey, can you hang out with me this weekend? And you said, I don't know, I need to check my schedule. Okay, we're friends, we're just chit-chatting, so you can use this expression and say, I don't know, I need to check my schedule. In the workplace, I would be a little bit more hesitant to use this, and I'd be more likely to use the full phrase, I don't know. Can you have this report finished by the end of the week? I don't know, I need to check my schedule. Okay, you're just being a little bit clearer in saying the full phrase in the workplace. The second way to say I don't know is I'm not sure. Can you hang out with me this weekend? I'm not sure, I need to check my schedule. Okay, you can also say this in the workplace. Can you finish this report by the end of the week? I'm not sure, let me check my schedule. Great, both of these are excellent. The third way to say I don't know is a longer phrase. It's a full sentence, and that's I am not 100% on that. I'm not 100% on that. You could add I'm not 100% sure on that, but we sometimes just cut out the word sure. I'm not 100% on that. So if I asked you, hey, can you hang out this weekend? You might say, well, I think I already have something going on, but I'm not 100% on that. Let me check my schedule. This is a perfect time to use this. You're letting them know you are not 100% sure. You can use other percentages. Sometimes we use this in conversation as well. So you might reply to me and say, I'm 80% sure that I have something else going on this weekend, but I'll check my schedule and let you know. Okay, well, 80% is just a random figure that you made up, but you can say something like this too if you want to lessen the surety of your statement. The fourth way to say I don't know is a fun one. Beats me. I found myself saying this last week when I think there was like a 1 hour period when my husband asked me 3 or 4 times where something was, different items, and I was just so tired. I was involved in something else. So when he said, hey, do you know where the candle is? And I said, beats me. Hey, do you know where this is? Beats me. Just find it yourself. So here I'm saying, I don't know, in kind of a casual way. It could be a little bit sarcastic, a little bit annoyed. Beats me. Go look for yourself. But you can also use this in just a silly way as well. So if I ask you, hey, do you want to hang out this weekend? You might say, beats me. It's only Monday. I don't know what my weekend plans are. You can use this in a couple different ways, but it's almost always casual. The fifth way to say I don't know is, you got me. Yeah, which is a reduced version of the word you. You got me. So let's imagine a situation where one of your coworkers said, hey, did you hear what the meeting is supposed to be about this afternoon? And if you have no idea, you don't know what the meeting's about, you could say, you got me. All I heard was that there would be free donuts at the meeting, so I'm gonna be there. So it's kind of like, you caught me. Oh, I should do something. I should know something, but I don't. You got me. All I heard was free donuts. The sixth way to say, I don't know, is I have no clue. Or you can shorten this to just no clue. When I ask you, hey, do you want to hang out this weekend? You might say, oh, I have no clue. Today has been so hectic, I haven't even looked at my weekend schedule. Or you could shorten that and say, no clue. I have a lot going on. Let me check my schedule and get back to you. You want to hang out? No clue. Maybe I want to, but I don't know if I can. I have no clue. Everything's hectic right now. Let me get back to you. The seventh way to say, I don't know, is don't ask me. We usually use this when someone else has a piece of knowledge or information and we don't. It's a good way to kind of deflect the question off of you and maybe on to someone else. So it's great to use if maybe there's some kind of gossip going around the office or around your friend group and someone says, hey, did you hear about Sarah? I think she might be pregnant. You might not want to get into the gossip. You don't really want to share any information that you have or don't have. So you could say, don't ask me. I haven't talked to her. Okay. You're saying, I don't know. I haven't talked to her. Don't ask me. You're deflecting that information. Maybe someone has the answer, but it's not you. Don't ask me. Sometimes we put up our hands like this. It kind of feels like a police interrogation. Don't ask me. I don't know. I'm innocent. Don't ask me. I don't want to get into it. The eighth way to say, I don't know, is another way to deflect a question from you. So if I ask you, hey, can you hang out this weekend? You might say, I can't say. I might have plans. I might not. In this situation, it feels like you probably have plans, but you don't want to tell me about them. Maybe it's a secret. Maybe it's a surprise party for me. Or maybe there's something going on that you just don't want to tell me about yet. So you might say, well, I can't say. I might have something going on. I might not. It gives the other person the hint that they probably shouldn't ask more questions because you're really not feeling comfortable sharing the answer. I can't say. I might have plans. I might not. Surprisingly, this is a phrase that you can use in the workplace too. So if your boss asks you, hey, can you have that report finished by the end of the week? You might say, I can't say for sure yet, but I'll get back to you and let you know. This is a common way to kind of deliver bad news in the office is by offering a solution. So at the moment, you don't know. I can't say for sure, but, and here's your solution, I'll get back to you. Great. Okay, you're not just saying, I can't say, I'm not going to tell you. Instead, you're offering to follow up later. I can't say for sure, but I'll get back to you and let you know. Very polite and a great way to use this phrase in the workplace. The ninth way to say, I don't know, is a full phrase. Your guess is as good as mine. That means I don't know. So whatever your guess is going to be the same correctness as my guess. So if I say to you, hey, do you think we're going to get our bonus at the end of the month? You might say, your guess is as good as mine. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. That means I don't know. I have no clue, so your guess is as good as mine. Don't forget each of the parts of this expression. Your guess is as good as mine. We're comparing two things, your guess and my guess. Well, they're both the same amount of correctness because neither of us knows. The 10th and final way to say I don't know in English is a sound. Yes, you guessed it. We had an affirmative sound for yes, We had a negative sound for no, And now we have an I don't know sound. It is, I love this. The intonation of your voice is just like a roller coaster. And here we are reducing I don't know, I dunno, and You're using that same sound, the same sound pattern, but you're just making the sound Now, because this is so extremely reduced, I don't recommend using this in a formal situation or really even in a casual situation with your friends where you're trying to just tell them simply, I don't know. We use this sound, I won't say word, we use this sound when we're trying to be dismissive of something. So let's imagine at the workplace some people are gossiping. Hey, I think Sarah's pregnant. And do you think she's going to quit? Is she going to keep working? And you don't want to get involved in the workplace gossip. And they look at you and say, hey, you're Sarah's friend. Is Sarah pregnant? Is she going to quit her job? You might use this dismissively to reflect the question away from you and say, It shows you don't care, you don't want to talk about this, and it gives the idea too that this isn't something we should be talking about. It's not nice. Let's just go on and do something else. So make sure you do not say this to your boss when he asks you, hey, can you have that report finished by the end of the month? If you say, it means you don't care about your job. Oh no. So make sure you only use this in situations where you're trying to show, I don't know and I don't care. Not towards your boss, ideally. Well, congratulations. You just leveled up your vocabulary with 10 great alternatives to yes, 10 alternatives to no, and 10 alternatives to I don't know. I hope that this lesson was enjoyable for you, and don't forget to download the free PDF worksheet, which includes all of these expressions, the nuanced ways that you can use them, and a couple extra sample sentences for each one so that you can make sure you're using them correctly in the right situation and expressing yourself completely. There is a link in the description below this video where you can download the free PDF worksheet today. And now I have a question for you. Let me know in the comments which one of these phrases was new for you today. I would love to see which one it was, and it's an opportunity to be able to use it so that you don't forget it. Let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for learning English with me. I will see you again next Friday for a new lesson here on my YouTube channel. Bye! But wait, do you want more? I recommend watching this video next, where you will level up your vocabulary and learn 20 important expressions, polite expressions to use for dangerous conversation topics like religion and politics. Oh no, how can you be polite in these situations but still express your opinion? Well, I have some good news. Watch that video and find out. I'll see you there.